All right, so I regret starting school when I did. Like, I decided that because of the fact that we had just moved to a new state and that I've been pregnant and so I was sick, all the things. And so I decided to wait till September to start school, and I regret it 100%. Let me explain. So, what I wish I had done instead, and what September has taught me, is that we should have done a slow start, a slow introduction in which we were slowly introducing one or two things every single week until we got to our full schedule. Either starting in August or starting in September, whichever, but we should have never started school the way that we did and just back on it and just full speed ahead and all the things, because it has been a complete disaster this month. We've accomplished none of our goals. Really, I think a couple of the kids accomplished their explode the code goal for the month, and they're like worldly wise, like they're like little independent books goals for the month. But when it comes to history, we never even started science this month. Like, that's how serious it is. We never even started science. We've done maybe 50% of our history for this month. It has been a disaster. It's been a disaster. Our schedule did not work. The schedule that I had planned did not work at all. Anyways, let me break it down. So, starting with our schedule for this month, the schedule that I created is a good schedule. The issue is it didn't allow for any room for transition. So, clean up, having a child transition from one activity to the next, there was no room for that. It was like boom, boom, boom. We have to move on from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And so what ended up happening is, with children, especially if you have toddlers, transitioning from one activity to the next activity to the next. So me thinking that I can go from, hey, we just got home from our walk, let's start with my little ones and start school with them. Bad idea. Like, after our walk, they still needed time to like de-stress, to transition from walk to school. But we don't have the time. Like, we're gonna be doing school all day, like. And so I had to let a lot of things go. I also had to rework that. So I wasn't able to come from our walk to immediately start with our little ones. What I thought was a good idea, hey, let me give them all the attention and start with them and do them first. Good intentions. Turns out it was far better for us to do Bible first, to have that time where we're centered, where we reconnect, where expectations are established, where we're talking about God, where they can lay on the floor and color and draw and do all the things. That is a better way for our day to flow than to just go straight to the little ones and have my older ones go straight to doing their math. So we switched that around. And so after our walk, we come downstairs and we gather all our things and we start our morning menus, which has been great, which has helped us a lot. I've also, like I said, I've also had to let some things go in order to build in that transition time. And so my youngest, who was doing, my 4-year-old, who was doing about 2 sessions a day, when it comes to his kindergarten 2, I've had to cut that down to 1 session in order to allow room for transition, in order to allow room for second snack. That was the other thing. I have 1 snack scheduled for the day. Turns out that's not gonna work because these kids can't go from 7 to 11 without eating, or from 7 to 12 without eating. Like, it's impossible. I don't know how they would survive in public school, but at home, they cannot go from breakfast to lunch. Like, I don't know what it is, but now I've had to establish a snack time at like 10 o'clock. So we're now eating at 7, 10, 12, every 2 hours, like a newborn baby. No, every 2 to 3 hours. So we're eating at 7, 10, 12, 3, and then 6. And so that snack time, I had to bring that into our schedule because they needed it, in order to be able to function. And so that is another thing that wasn't part of our schedule, that changed things up and took a couple of days to get adjusted to, and took a week for me to look back and see what a new system would be that would work better. The other thing is my 2-year-old. I've been working with my 2 and 4-year-old together, And at first it was working out just fine. I was able to tag team and able to do both and able to, have one kid working on this, the other kid working on that. OMG, they completely started distracting one another. And my 4-year-old can't focus because my 2-year-old's activity is so much cooler than what he's doing. And so it's taking him forever to get through his work. Or my 2-year-old finishes her activity and now she's all over what her brother is doing. Oh, that's 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 and just focusing on what he's doing. And I was just getting so frustrated, like so frustrated trying to balance both of them when it comes to school. And so I've had to come up with a whole new plan. So now while I'm working with my 4-year-old, my 2-year-old is being read to by my oldest because he's been finishing off his math relatively quickly because he's been working on his math. Like he's been waking up early in the morning to work on his math, or he will work on his math the night before. I don't know. I'm just like, cool, at least you got some free time. You could help. But he doesn't like, I guess, the last minuteness of having to do the math in the morning. I don't know. But all I know is that freed up his morning so that he's now able to play with his little sister and do some Montessori activities with her and things like that while I work with my 4-year-old. So, like I said, we have not even been able to start science. The plan was to start science around lunchtime. We were supposed to be doing science at the same time or around the same time that we're doing lunch, but we're finishing so late that we're like literally scarfing down food so that I can quickly get the little ones down for a nap so that we can quickly get to history. And so science has been pushed on the back burner. Thank God for the Christian Liberty readers that I got at the beginning of the year. So that's kind of what their science has been, is that they've been reading these readers and answering the questions. And so hopefully now that we've got these transition times added, that we've got this flow going, it will be a lot easier now to bring in science because it's very important to them and to me that we get, a solid science in this year. The other thing is our morning walks. Our morning walks are amazing and we love them. We love that time to get out in the morning, to wake up, to start the day with friends and all the things. But on Thursdays, I've got a video coming out next week, I believe, and it's a busy homeschool mom day. And you will see that day I have 4 therapy appointments. So we've got speech and we've got physical therapy and we've got pelvic floor therapy for me and all the things. But I try to book all the therapies on one day. That Thursday, that ain't the Thursday to be going on walks, all right? That Thursday, we need to hit the ground running from when we wake up in the morning. So that's another thing that I've had to change is that 2 Thursdays throughout the month, we can't do morning walks. Like, our time is just so thin, like we can't. Now, the other thing that I've realized this month is that my tone. I've been so stressed out by the schedule, so stressed, so overwhelmed by all the things that we've been doing that I find myself very tense and not necessarily yelling or screaming, but I'm not gentle or sweet with my tone. And I find that has created a very hostile environment in our home. So it's not like I'm like, but I'm more like, go do this, go do that, get this done, rather than, hey, sweetie, how can I help you? What do you need help with? Like just talking to my kids in a very stressed out manner, in a very short manner, has created like just a really just not a pleasant home. And so next month or this week, my goal is to talk more sweetly, is to take the time to to speak with them with honey. And I've got like notes around the house that's like soft voice, gentleness. It's one of the fruits of the spirit, y'all. Gentleness, and just working on that, because it's important that with homeschooling our children that they still that they're not raised in this like super stressful environment. You know what I mean? That relationships are not broken through the homeschooling process. And so that is something that I'm definitely working on. Pray for me, y'all, because it's not easy for me. It doesn't come naturally, but I do see a difference when I speak to them sweetly, not only in how they obey, but also in how they treat one another. So in addition to all that, school is important. Getting our work done is important. Well, it's important to us. It's important to our home and our family. But relationship is more important. Relationship is what we prioritize. And so we have found that with the stresses of the day and all the things that we have to do, therapies and the teaching of the multiple kids and all the things, that we need to take the time to bond with our kids. And so we're bringing back special time, which is if you guys haven't heard of my special time, I will link that video up above. In short, it's 10 minutes per day per child doing what they want to do with each parent. And so we're going to be doing that with all of our kids, and they're going to be doing that with each other, this 10-minute special time and bonding time. All right, so in addition, looking forward to October, I'm going to quickly go over October read alouds that we plan on getting done. This past month, we have done Walk the World's Rim and Pedro's Journal, and we've thoroughly enjoyed these books. We still have 2 chapters left of Walk the World's Rim, and then we'll be completely done with that. So going into next month, we are planning on doing The Witch of Blackbird Pond and Johnny Tremaine. And so those are our 2 books for October, our 2 read alouds for October. My oldest, his assigned readers for September were Homeschool, which as an 11-year-old boy, he loved this book. Like, he really, really thoroughly enjoyed this book a whole lot. So Homeschool and Pocahontas and the Strangers. He's about halfway through this book right now, and he did not want to read this. He's like, I'm not reading a book about princesses. I'm like, I don't think like that's what it is, and all the things. But I will say that halfway through, he has really gotten into it. He's really like, there's Pocahontas, I think it is, like the leader of Pocahontas's clan, his strategy in how he plans on attacking the pale faces and all the things. He's really digging the strategy behind the attacking of things. And so he likes the fighting. He likes the fighting, that kind of aspect of it. So he said it's getting better. So I'll let you guys know next month how it ends, and if, well, not how it ends, but if he likes how it ends. But so far it's gone from I don't want to read this to, okay, all right, let's see what happens in the next chapter. So fingers crossed. But his next month's assigned readers are The Sign of the Beaver, which he's already read. So he's going to be reading it, and I'm going to be asking him questions. And so he's probably going to read through this fairly quickly because it's already a book that he's already read. As long as he can answer the questions, I'm good with it. Then we've got Tolliver's Secret, which he has also already read. But same concept. We'll just quickly go through it. And then once he's done with those. He's done with his reading for the month. Now, my 3rd grader, she has read Riding the Pony Express this month in September. And she loved Riding the Pony Express. As you can tell, she's hard on books, but she loved Riding the Pony Express. It was hard to get her to stay on track. She was very much, oh, I accidentally read another chapter. Oh, I accidentally read another 2 chapters and stuff like that. So I didn't stress her. I'm like, enjoy, you know. And right now she is almost done. Yeah, she's got about 5 more chapters, and she'll be done with The Secret Valley. And she is enjoying this book as well. For next month, for October, we've got the 3rd grade detectives books, which she has been looking forward to reading all summer when I got this book. And so she's going to be reading the 3rd grade detectives book 1. This is book 1 and book 2. So hopefully I get her to stop before she gets to the book 2 part. But hold on, I'm trying to figure out which one is book 1. Flip book 2 books for the price of 1. So one of these is book 1. The other one's book 2. I got to figure out which one is which. But he's going to be reading just book 1 if she listens to her mama. She is also going to be reading The Paintbrush Kid as well, which looks kind of fun. So I think this will be fun for her. We are going into October, very hopeful. October has 3 birthdays in it. So I can imagine that it is, that we might have some days where school is hard and stuff like that. But I've just been really working on slowly introducing things right and being okay with not being exactly on the schedule that I created and not exactly accomplishing our goals. And so when I create our goals for October, I'm working on it this weekend. When I create our goals for October, I will make sure to not, because what I was doing is, for example, if we've got 25 days of school, I would plan 25 days of math, So I'll make sure to allow wiggle room. And so instead of doing 25 days, I might do 20, and that way our goals are more realistic to accomplish. So stay tuned for October wrap up to see if all these changes actually help. And let me know in the comments, how has your September been? Has it been a success? Have you accomplished all your goals? Has your schedule been working perfectly? Or have you had to make some tweaks and adjustments and different things like that to make it work? And yeah, until next time, bye.